Snack Time. I'm your host, Marno, and joining us today is my friend Ben, who is sharing his snack, the Veggie Party Platter, or as I recently learned, and by recently I mean like literally 30 minutes ago when I was researching for this, crudités. Hi Ben, welcome back to Snack Time. How are you?
Hi everybody, it's Ben. Today we're going to be talking about the party veggie platter, or also known as crudités, which I just found out 30 minutes ago.
We're just learning. It's a new year and we're just learning so many new things.
Yeah, it's 2021. I was reflecting when Michelle asked me, like, what do I want to bring onto the show today? You know, I was thinking about 2021 and I am trying to be a little bit healthier. I'm trying to like eat some veggies. And so what I've been doing is making myself a veggie platter, like separate from my meals, separate from anything else. So it truly is a snack for snack time. And I just put together like all these different veggies, which I'm sure we can get into what veggies I use. But because I'm very picky with veggies, I don't know if you know that, but I'm a pretty picky eater. So I've been making these veggie platters to just basically force myself to eat vegetables. And it's been working. And because it's like set out like a party platter, it feels like a party. And I really miss parties.
It's like a party just for yourself, but like a healthy one.
Party for one.
It's funny because it kind of is similar to Cece and Doss's episode with the little protein packs, but obviously protein packs are... So like if you have a huge like charcuterie board, which is like so trendy, everyone has their fucking charcuterie boards. 2020 probably was like the minor death of the charcuterie board because like everyone was having parties with them and then like no one could have parties. That's actually something interesting to look into. Like how many people's charcuterie board, like, you know how people have those like actual wooden boards went unused last year because of that.
Yeah.
Anyway, on the charcuterie board, there's usually like meats, cheeses, and veggies.
Yeah.
And so like it's almost as if Cece and Doss took the like charcuterie portion of the charcuterie board, and then you're now taking like the crudité portion, which is the veggies and stuff.
Which again is so ironic because I am not a vegetable eater, but I'm trying really hard. That's why I wanted to focus on it in this session today.
In this session, this therapy session, snack therapy with Marno.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's what snack time is.
That would be a good spinoff.
Well, okay, so it's interesting that you bring up because like you don't necessarily love like healthy snacks or healthy foods, but so far on this podcast you're doing veggie platter. You previously did strawberries, which is healthy, and then before that you had pretzels, which is like, I mean, as far as junky snack foods go, relatively healthy. It's just like bread with salt, like
yeah, that's interesting. Maybe I'm trying to like save my image.
You're like projecting what you want to become.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's what we all need to do.
I'm manifesting for 2021.
Yes, I love that. Well, so for those snackers, hi snackers, I know you're there and you're listening and I love you. For those of you that haven't heard the previous episodes that Ben has in, we have to know right off the bat, Ben, whether you are a salty or sweet snacker. You don't have to go in as much detail as before if you don't want to, or you can if you want, or you could talk about a completely different portion of your salty or sweet snackerness.
Yeah.
But yeah, what do you usually go for?
So the first time I came on, I said I was kind of in the middle, and I think I ended up choosing one. And then I listened to our episode yesterday of strawberries, and I went full on sweet. And I think this time I'm going to stick with it. I think I love a sweet snack. You know, salty is great, but when it really comes down to it, the strawberries are one of my favorite snacks. Is watermelon? Watermelon is sweet, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not really good with like understanding the flavors of things.
I mean, watermelon sugar is one of Harry Styles' best accomplishments.
So like my two favorite snacks are like strawberries and watermelon. Those are probably my two favorite foods outside of garlic knots. Garlic knots are my actually number one favorite food.
Oh my God, why haven't we talked about garlic knots?
We should next time.
Okay, that's the next one.
But that's like, I guess it's like, I don't usually eat those like as a snack. It's usually like as a very unnecessary addition to my pizza that I just ordered.
Okay, so it's like an appetizer, which is basically a snack.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, totally. So I would say sweet, if with the exception of garlic knots.
And pretzels.
And pretzels, yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess this episode kind of fits in with that because vegetables, I mean, they're not really salty. If anything, they
Right.
lean on the sweet side.
Yeah. Yeah, it depends on the vegetable too, because I'm doing this app that I did about 2 years ago called Rise. Have you ever
Hmm.
heard of it?
No, what is that?
So it's like a nutrition coaching app. So you take pictures of your food that you eat, and they basically give you a score on like how nutritious it is and stuff. So it's like
Hmm.
you get like a nutrition coach basically. And 2 years ago I did it, and I like learned a lot about like what is actually healthy and like how to set up a good plate and stuff.
Hmm.
And so I'm doing it again this time. And one of the things that she told me is that I like crunchy cold vegetables. So like if it's like cooked, or if it's like gets soggy because it's like cooked or steamed or something, I don't
Hmm.
really like it very much. But if it's just basically like a carrot, or like I like a sugar snap pea,
Oh,
or
yum. Hmm.
um, celery, not celery, but probably celery, but I don't like the flavor of celery. But cucumbers I really like. So it's like when it's cold and crunchy, I
Hmm.
really like it. And then all other vegetables, like I have a little bit more trouble with.
Interesting. I mean, it's healthier to eat the
Yeah,
vegetables raw anyway because it has like all of the nutrients intact and stuff.
right. I made dinner the other day. So I've been trying to cook a lot more recently in 2021. And what did I make? I made orange chicken from Trader Joe's, which is just the best.
Oh my God.
And I
Yes.
like to make like orange chicken, and then I get these little rice, this minute rice. I don't know if you've seen them. They're minute rice, and you just have to literally microwave it for 1 minute.
Ben, I'm Filipino. You cannot expect me to use minute rice.
Okay,
Come
I am
on.
white, and I can
Disclosure for
tell
all
you
of the snackers, Ben is white.
absolutely. And that sounded a little too proud, I think. I'm not. I'm just saying, like, yes, I'm white. I'm not trying
He's
to say.
white and ashamed. He's white and ashamed.
Yeah,
Don't
I'm a
get it
self-hating
twisted.
white person.
As it
Anyway,
should be.
anyway, I can't make rice. I can't make good rice. So anyway, there's a minute rice, and you can microwave it for 1 minute, and it comes out and it's rice.
I mean,
And I did
perfect.
that with my orange chicken. And then I tried to make green beans, because
Mm.
I like green beans like at a restaurant, which is kind of an exception to my crunchy cold rule.
Hmm.
But I tried to make them myself, and I am not succeeding yet.
Okay, I can help you with that.
Oh,
Actually, I'll
really?
just tell you right now. Like
Okay, yeah,
I was
let's
gonna be
go
like,
through it.
oh, after the pod, but
Yeah.
everyone can learn this like super easy way because I absolutely love green beans and I love them to still have a crunch to them. Like I
Okay.
don't want them to be super soggy.
Yeah.
And actually, this was a way that I prepared green beans for the girls that I used to nanny in New
Uh-huh.
York because, you try to get kids to eat vegetables. It's not that
Yeah.
easy. But one of them absolutely loved this way. So I'll say the easier way, and then like you add like literally one more thing, and it's
Okay.
even better. So
Okay,
the
everybody get ready, because we're about to learn some good stuff.
get your notebooks out, get your
Yeah.
notes app on your phone ready. Okay, literally so easy. You just, obviously wash the green beans. I like to trim them so it's
What?
like shut up. So I always cut off the ends because that little part is just like annoying. And then I usually like to cut them so they're bite sized and you don't have to like cut them at like, while you're eating or like do that weird thing where you like shove it in your mouth. Just make it
Oh,
bite sized
yeah.
so it's easy to eat and then it's like really easy to put in with a bite. Let's say you're eating it with rice and orange chicken.
Yeah.
It's small enough that you can like stab it with the fork
Yeah.
and then, combine it for a little combo bite. So, those classic sirens.
Classic New York sirens.
Gotta love it.
It's crazy. Like, it's like a guarantee.
Yeah, 100%. Where did we leave off? Okay, so you trim
Cut
them.
them.
Yes. You put a little bit of oil in a pan. You can do olive oil, canola oil, vegetable oil, whatever, just like very lightly, just so when you put the beans in, they get a little, coated with the oil.
Uh-huh.
And then here's where you add the flavor. So if you want to go super easy, you just use garlic powder, onion powder, salt, and pepper. Literally,
Uh-huh.
that's all you need. And just sprinkle it over any amount that you want and just let it saute until it starts cooking to the desired amount you want. So if you like it more on the raw side, just very lightly. Sometimes I like to get a little bit browner, I guess you would say.
Yeah.
And then the easiest way to make it even better and to make it go with Asian food even more is just a
Yeah.
little splash of soy sauce. And
Oh
it'll start
yeah.
sizzling and caramelizing a little bit. And you just keep stirring. It's like stir fry, but only with green beans. And
Yeah.
it's literally so easy. How many ingredients? One, green beans is one, salt, pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, soy sauce. 6 ingredients. It takes
Yeah.
like 5 minutes to just throw into the pan and like
I
zhuzh
know.
it up and go.
Yeah.
It's so
Okay.
good.
Here's my follow-up question. This is where I always mess up when it comes to cooking on the stove. What level of heat am I doing this at?
I would say heat. So get the pan heated on medium.
Okay.
Like a hot, good pan, but it's not like scorching, so you don't want to just
Yeah.
immediately burn everything.
Yeah. Right.
So heat the pan, make sure the pan is hot, then you drizzle a little oil in. Make
Yeah.
sure the oil is getting hot,
Mhm.
and then throw in the green beans and all the seasonings. If you want to
Yeah.
use fresh garlic, you do the garlic first to like brown it. If you want to do fresh onions, same thing. So you'd want
Yeah.
those aromatics first, but I don't like to put them in powdered form on first because I think it like just immediately burns. So I
Yeah.
like to sprinkle them once the green beans are already in. But then once it's cooking and you can tell like when it's like actually starting to cook, you can turn it
Yeah.
down to low. And I'll usually
Okay.
like if I'm cooking multiple things and that's one of them, I'll just leave it on like the very lowest while I'm like finishing up everything else so it like stays warm. And then yeah, it's literally that easy.
That's good. I'm gonna do it tonight
Oh my gosh, you have to tell
after
me how
our
it goes.
after our IG live.
After our oh my god. After
After our
IG
IG live.
live, which okay, we're gonna get into it later, snackers, but of course Ben is starting another venture, just like how I am constantly starting new things that hopefully we stick to. We'll talk
Well, I
about it a little
listened
bit more
to-
later.
Yeah, we can get to it later.
Wait, but what did you listen to?
Well, I was gonna say I listened to our last episode last night,
Uh-huh.
and at the end of the episode, you were like, "Ben will be back. We'll talk about another snack, and he'll probably have a whole new side hustle to tell us about."
Oh my god.
You predicted it.
Literally self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah,
What I
yeah.
didn't predict is that I would have another. Well, okay, so we'll get into it. We'll get into it.
We're teasing.
I don't. Yeah, we're teasing. We have to talk about these fucking crudités.
Veggies. Oh wait, I know. Okay, so we have to define some terms here because
Yeah.
I would call like a veggie tray, a party
Right.
platter.
That's what I would say too.
You're saying crudité, which is over my head. That's beyond me. It's too cultured for me. And then I would also say there's charcuterie.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
So I'm confused between charcuterie and crudité. What
Yes.
is all of that?
So I didn't know either, but when I learn a new word, I love to use it. So since I literally just learned crudité,
Yeah.
it's just like so fun. I've heard it before, but I never really knew exactly what it was. So I was looking into it and I literally Googled like history of veggie party platter because that's what I would call it. And
Yeah.
crudité kept popping up as like
Okay.
what that is, like a veggie platter. So as far as the difference between charcuterie, crudité, and like a veggie platter, crudité literally means chopped vegetables.
Oh.
Charcuterie is the meat portion of a charcuterie platter. So I
Okay.
guess if you're thinking of charcuterie platter is like the umbrella term.
Yeah.
And then we have the charcuterie, which is the meat portion, the crudité, which is the chopped vegetables, and
Yeah.
then the cheese is kind of like the accent. So
Okay.
when you see a veggie platter at the store, usually it's veggies, a dipping sauce, and like maybe cheese, right? Like little
Yeah.
cheese cubes. But that's not really vegetables, but that's like the accent. And same thing with a meat heavy charcuterie board. That's usually meats and cheeses, right? That's what
Yeah.
you think, meats, cheeses, and crackers. So
Yeah,
the
like nuts.
cheese, yeah, nuts, which is like, yeah, more of the protein.
Yeah.
And so the cheese is like the accent between both. And
Okay.
so those are those terms.
Yeah.
Then we can deeper dive deeper.
Down.
Yeah, dive into the crudité of it all. Because I was like, okay, this obviously is French. Like, what is up with this? And so the etymology behind this word, crudité, which is crudite with a little accent S, means raw things. From Middle French, crudité. From Latin, cruditatum, or crudita. From crudus, which means rough, not cooked, raw, bloody.
Ooh, bloody.
So it just means raw, like anything. So like raw meat, raw vegetables, but it turned into crudité, raw things, which then turned into the French appetizer or hors d'oeuvre, consisting of sliced or whole raw vegetables, which are typically dipped in a vinaigrette or other dipping sauce, ranch, duh.
Yeah.
Or onion dip, like a French onion dip. And then this says examples of crudité include celery sticks, carrot sticks, cucumber sticks, bell pepper strips, broccoli, cauliflower, fennel, and asparagus spears.
Cucumber sticks. I don't do cucumber sticks. I do cucumber little slices.
Yeah, I don't know what cucumber sticks are, and I've also never seen fennel, but maybe this is like a traditional French crudité.
Right. If you're French, leave a comment.
Please.
Let us know.
Let us know. And then the term was first used in English around 1960. So
what?
Like
1960?
Yeah. So like, did English-speaking people not eat vegetables in this way before?
Like, what did Lucy Ricardo call it?
Maybe they didn't eat vegetables. I mean, that was the time of like those weird Jell-O salads where they literally put like vegetables in Jell-O and said that that was healthy.
That is really an that you should have an episode on that. What is that called? Jell-O?
Nasty Jell-O.
Yeah. That's so weird.
Yeah. But isn't that interesting?
It's funny about the Jell-O because I think my grandma does do a lot of like work with Jell-O.
She does still to this day.
No, I don't know. Like, I feel like in the past I've seen her make some like Jell-O with fruit in it.
Okay, at least it's fruit though. Like sweet Jell-O, I completely understand. Okay, so I love that you have sirens over there, and then I have like airplanes and helicopters over here. I can't get behind a savory Jell-O. Like, I just don't understand that.
Wait,
Not
what do
that
you
I've
mean?
ever
What is
had
that?
one. Like, they would put like hot dogs in Jell-O and shit like that. Like
that. Hold on, wait a second. I have to go barf because we can edit this out. I have to barf.
Isn't that nasty? God. Maybe I should do an episode on like retro Jell-O recipes.
Yeah.
And just
or at least like a video where you try them all.
No, I don't want to waste my money on making them. If people want to send
by
them
Jell-O.
Okay, so that's the game plan. I have to get sponsored. I have to do a good episode about Jell-O.
Yeah.
Like a Snacktime episode.
Like pro Jell-O.
Yeah, someone loves Jell-O. If you love Jell-O and you're listening, please, like, let's do an episode. So then I can get a Jell-O sponsorship. Yeah. Then they'll send me free Jell-O products.
Yeah.
And then I'll make.
If you got sponsored by Jell-O.
if that was like iconic.
If that was like your first brand partnership, I would lose it.
Okay, do you know what's crazy? Which I don't think I've talked about here, like recorded on the
scoop.
Huh?
We're getting the exclusive scoop?
I mean, not really. Like, nothing has really come of it. But like a few brands have interacted with me.
No.
So, the O's brand of like that bubble tea that I did the episode with Kevin with.
Which has a lot of views.
Well, okay, so my video, that I did of making it has a lot of views. And so they commented on that. Wait, so why did I even bring up the Kevin episode? Oh, just because.
We talked about it on.
Yeah. I was like, how do these things connect? Oh,
You're always plugging the podcast first.
Yes, which I subconsciously was doing, and then me now, compared to me 30 seconds ago, like didn't get what I was doing.
Pull it together.
I'm trying. So anyway, O's Bubble Tea commented on my YouTube video and they were like, we love this. Can we share it on our Instagram feed?
Oh.
And I was like, yes, 100%. Here's my Instagram account so you can just tag me, whatever. But then the day that they chose to upload it was the day of the election. And I was like, I'm not sharing that today. And then I just keep forgetting. And now it's just been so long that like, I'm like, okay, I need to like just figure out a day that I'm going to share this like 3-month-old post.
We live in a world where literally every single day is a big news day.
It's so stupid. Like I can't do anything.
Also, this is a tangent, but do you notice like around elections that like all the news is just about the election, but then when it's not about when it's not an election, there's actual news.
Yeah.
Like, where does all the news goes? We just don't care about it because we're voting someone into office, which doesn't even matter. Like, I mean, it totally matters, but like, we're just voting someone into office. Like, we should still like cover the real news that's actually happening around the world.
Right. Well, that's why too, like when these huge events happen and they're not covered by the news, I basically rely on Twitter to get like news from what's happening with real people around our country and the world. It's so wow.
I know Twitter is really good for that. But like, yeah, you're right. I should not rely so much on CNN. But Anderson Cooper is so cute.
Anderson Cooper doesn't provide everything, Ben.
No, but you know who was really who's just really good is Don Lemon. Are you like a CNN fan? Okay, so Don Lemon is this man. He's like way older than you would think he is. He's like 57 or something. And if you're listening out there and you know who Don Lemon is, the other night he put on these.
I've heard of him, but like I don't think I've ever like sat down and been like, time to watch Don Lemon.
Okay, he had these glasses on that were so fabulous, and he's reading the news, and I just thought it was the most amazing thing that I've ever seen. I have to send you a picture.
Can't say I'm like that enthralled by this story.
He had these glasses on that were just absolutely not appropriate for the news because they were so fabulous.
Like what? Like, what did they look like?
They were normal and professional, but they were so glamorous. Okay. They were like tortoise.
Do you know what you're telling me right now? You just have a crush on him.
Yeah, I do.
Wait, is he gay?
Yeah, he is.
Oh, wait. Okay, now I'm interested.
A bulk?
I just assumed it was some, like, basic-ass straight white man.
No, he's not any of those things. He's a man.
Wait, is he not white?
No, he's black.
Oh, with a name like Lemon, I just assumed he would be like some sour-ass white guy.
No, he's a cool. You should look him up.
Oh, okay. Now I'm way more invested.
Now I know the key to like get you interested in a story. Just be like, he's not white and he's not straight.
Literally, that is how I consume most of my content. So.
I'm gonna send you a picture of him in these glasses. He on
send
New Year's
it to me right now. I need to see this.
Okay.
Or I guess I could just Google it. I literally have my computer open.
Yeah, Google Don Lemon. A lot of pictures are kind of like professional, but he on New Year's Eve. Do you ever watch CNN on New Year's Eve? Like
that's what I watched this year because I wanted to watch Andy and Anderson. Oh, yes. I literally know who this is and I've watched him.
Yeah. It's funny, and he does not hold back in the news. I like his commentary and stuff, but
he's so cute.
I love him so much, and I just love that like CNN is like bringing on the gays to read me the news.
Literally, the time has come.
I know, and it's just like, and Anderson Cooper is like, he's like the king of CNN. Like he's
king.
Like nobody does it like Anderson Cooper, and he's gay, and I just think that's so cool.
Like. I remember in high school, there was like a friend group I had, and we would call Anderson Cooper 3 Sexy instead of 360 because we literally loved him so much.
I know. There's something about him that just like, because he is the perfect balance of like very professional, very serious, but then sometimes he lets loose, and I love it.
Like New Year's Eve when Andy, like the just drunken tornado that became Andy versus Anderson trying to hold his shit together, but like still laughing was just so funny to
I would
watch.
love. You know like how sometimes in life like you like become friends like with your boss or something, or like
Mm-hmm.
you like see people who are normally like more serious and more professional like in a different light, and like that's happened to me multiple times in my life where like I don't know, I become friends with my boss, or I like have a different relationship with like the CEO of my company or something, and
Casually friends with the CEO.
and like like seeing people like that let loose is one of my greatest joys in life.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I mean, even just in an interview, like a job interview,
Hmm.
my number one goal is always like make this person laugh or at the very
Yeah.
least smile.
Right. Yeah, exactly. At the very least.
I mean,
Can you imagine if they don't smile at all? I guess it might happen.
it's never happened to me, but
Yeah.
that's like my biggest fear that they're just. I mean, I guess then I wouldn't want the job because it's like, what kind of work environment
Yeah.
is that?
Yeah. I had an interview on Tuesday. And I think
Exciting.
the woman who I interviewed with was very like affirming.
Uh
Like
huh.
when you say something and she's like, "Oh, I like that you said that." I love when people do that.
Especially in a job interview because it's like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm giving you what you want.
Yeah. And she laughed a couple of times. I made a joke. What did I make a joke about? It was something that I just basically repeated her own joke and she laughed. But
Oh
I
my
can't remember what it
god.
was.
Genius.
She said
Genius.
something in the beginning of the interview about like I don't know how busy she was or something. And
Uh,
then I repeated the joke about like how busy she was, and like she laughed and I was like, "Wow, I got it."
that's
But
so smart, honestly.
I know, but I'm like it's interesting job hunting because like I'm just having this like weird reaction to like getting let go in April after like 5 years at my company, and like
Mm-hmm.
I really was really into it and I made that job like such a big part of my identity, and then now becoming like unemployed, and I've been unemployed for like 9 months, which is like way more than I ever thought that I would be unemployed, and like
Yeah.
luckily I'm still fine like financially and stuff, which is fantastic. But like applying for these new jobs, it like I have a new perspective because I am just not sure like if I want to make that job like my whole identity again,
Mm-hmm.
and I have like other things that I'm working on that I'm like more proud of.
Right. I
You know?
totally feel that.
Yeah.
And especially in this new like nanny career that I'm kind of, I guess, in, like
Yeah.
how many years now? But it really is like, okay, like nanny isn't my defining trait. Like,
Yeah.
because when I'm out in the world, being a nanny doesn't really affect how I interact with people. Like,
Yeah.
I view myself more, which has taken like a lot of like processing and reasoning with myself, that nanny is like, I guess, my day job. And
Yeah.
who I really am as a person is an artist, and that takes many shapes and forms, which is another thing that I'm always grappling with. Like, okay,
Yeah.
like let me find the balance in all these different passions I have, but it's not like I need to choose one, which
Mhm.
I my whole life thought I needed to in order to find my job. But
Yeah.
the truth of the matter is, like, I'm just constantly working whether or not I'm getting paid.
Yeah. Right. I know. Me too. I have like
Mm-hmm.
all these different things. I saw. Isn't it funny in these days when you want to say like I read somewhere or like I saw on the internet, but
Yeah.
it's really just like a meme or like a tweet.
Yeah.
But like
Literally.
you can't just be like I saw a meme that said this because it seems like it has no like what's the word, reliability, no
Yeah.
whatever,
Credibility.
credibility. Yeah. But like you don't want to say like, oh, I saw this in a meme and now I'm gonna bring it up like it's a real conversation piece. But I
Yeah.
did see in a meme that someone was like talking about, or maybe it was a tweet, which is a little bit more credible. Someone was talking about how like as kids we're like sold this idea of like a dream job,
Mm-hmm.
and we're all talking about like what we want to be when we grow up, and we're like excited about it. But like when we get to be like 22, we go find a job and it's like not exactly what we thought we were going to have. And then by the time we're like 25, we are realizing that like our life isn't exactly what we thought like it was going to become. And then like by 30, we're like just like bitter and we're just like selling our labor for money and stuff. And like,
Mm-hmm.
it's funny because like as the older I get, I'm like realizing that that's so interestingly true for myself because I feel like I had such interesting like visions of like what I thought I would be by the time I was 30. And I'm only 28 now, but like 30s coming.
Yeah.
And like, it's been so interesting because this year during quarantine, I've just been reevaluating like A, like how I value myself, and B, like what my real dreams are.
Mm-hmm.
And I was talking to my friend Allie, who she really wants to be like on her own, doing her own business. And she sells like silk lined beanies on the internet, and she is doing really well. So like people who have like frizzy hair and stuff can like have a silk in their beanie so it doesn't mess up their hair, which is awesome. And she's selling a ton of them. But I was talking to her about it, and she was saying like, because this job that I applied for on Tuesday is a little bit more like junior than my normal jobs that I would go for. And I've been told by all these other jobs that I'm like, that they went with someone who is more qualified or who has more experience. And I was like reflecting on like what if I get turned down from this job because I have too much experience? And I was like, oh my God, like this is such a thing. And like, I was feeling so like rejected by the world of like working and corporate stuff and like jobs and a career. And she was like, I think you're just like trying to accomplish the wrong thing. Like you are trying to like go up in this like corporate world where someday you're like some CEO or whatever. But she was like, the way to become a CEO is just like do your own thing and start your own companies and stuff. And it was like so empowering that she said that, because like that's exactly what I think I want to do, but it does require like you to be kind of bold.
Yeah, and it requires money.
Yeah.
Because for the longest time, you're most likely not going to be getting paid for what you're doing, like for the work you're putting in. And so, yeah, like, I mean, I totally agree with what she was saying. And I think I'm on that path too, where it's like, you just have to do something to make the money that you need in order to make the job that you actually really want.
Right. Yeah. So I've been hustling.
I love it. Which obviously we'll talk about. Okay. So I have this article.
Okay, let's read the
about
article.
Crudité. Wait, what was the other thing I was going to talk about? Oh, just the other, like, reaching out from a company was from Golden Grams Crackers.
Oh my gosh.
They messaged me on the Snacktime Instagram, which listeners, snackers, if you're listening, Snacktime Pod on Instagram. Check it out.
Give it a follow.
Anyway. Golden Grams? Honey Grams. Oh my God. Honey Maid.
You're such a bad ambassador.
Well, do you know what? They haven't paid me yet, honey. So, Honey Maid, walk out the door until you bring me that money, honey.
Okay, Honey Maid they make the graham crackers?
Yes, Honey Maid graham crackers. And they messaged me, slid into my DMs, and they were like, something like, love your feed. When are we going to see a close-up picture of Honey Maid graham crackers or something like that?
Oh, I thought you were going to say they wanted a close-up picture of your feet or something.
Honestly, if they're going to pay me, sure. At this point, I'm like, whatever.
Yeah.
But and I was like, that's funny, because obviously then they looked at the profile to see that like most of these pictures are like up close shots of snacks, but it seems like they haven't actually read the captions, because just by reading the captions, you would see like all of these pictures are posted because I'm recording a podcast about them, which they didn't bring up. So I'm like, okay, like, I don't know how they found my page, but whatever.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, wow, all of my pictures are of snacks that I talk about on my podcast. And like, no one has yet to want to talk about graham crackers. Maybe I'll do an episode about s'mores soon. And they're like, oh, yay. And then it just ended at that. And I was like, okay, well, obviously you don't want me to post a picture that bad, because you're not going to send me free Honey Maid graham crackers.
Right.
And that's why I was kind of saying like, oh, maybe I'll do s'mores. And I was like hoping they'd be like, oh, let us send you some. And then.
What a bad like little social media manager. Like they didn't cook you at all. In fact, like they made you like hate them a little bit. You're like, you're gonna reach out to me and like not even like sponsor me at all with one graham cracker,
or even just one graham cracker. Come on, just one in a Ziploc bag in a box in the mail. But they didn't even like read a singular caption of any of these pictures they're talking about too. So it's like, yeah, I haven't posted your fucking graham cracker yet.
Yeah.
I haven't talked about it on my podcast, and that's the whole point.
Oh my God, look at
Anyway.
us. Look at us getting mad about brands reaching out to us.
Neither of us has yet to get paid by one, but we are already hating them.
Yeah.
But anyway, so let's get into this freaking crudité veggie platter because I haven't read this article, but it's the golden age of crudité, and
Oh
it's
my
just like
gosh.
seems like the most dramatic New York
Yeah.
Times style magazine article, and they have these like beautifully styled photographs of like
Oh my gosh.
vegetables like hanging off of this like I don't know stand that's like
Yeah.
carved out of I don't know whatever.
Yeah.
It's just very dramatic and I love it.
Yeah. Okay. Can I say before you start, I love the research aspect that this podcast has taken on because not only am I entertained, I'm learning.
Right? I mean, I like have fun reading it. Also, I just like
Yeah.
love reading things. So let me get a little sip of my water.
Yeah. Get ready.
What are you drinking?
Well, so I have a water as well. This is my water in this tumbler situation that I got when I was in my friend's wedding.
Cute.
And it's so interesting because I use this every day. And like when you think about wedding gifts that people give you, or not gifts, but like goodie bag things like that you like get for being in someone's wedding, like you're always like, okay, I'll throw this away, whatever.
Yeah.
But this thing, it just says like Ben bridesman on it because I was her bridesman or whatever. I wasn't the man of honor. I was a bridesman.
Yeah.
So I wasn't like number one person, which is totally fine. But
Is it? Seems
I'm
like
totally
you're a little
over
bit
it.
bitter.
I'm totally fine with it. But I use it all the time and I've had it for like 3 or 4 years.
Wow.
And I keep it by my dresser so I can use it to take my pills at nighttime because I don't want to like get a new water every day. So I just keep it like this. But then when I'm on famous podcasts or I'm doing broadcast interviews, I like to just keep it next to me to drink some water.
Yeah. Wait, but what is in your mug?
And then, okay, I have my mug. This is not my own mug that I've made myself. This is a mug that I got at Bed Bath and Beyond. But I am drinking coffee because I kind of just woke up, in a weird way. Like I woke up. What time is it for me? It's like 2:20. I woke up. I set my alarm for 11:30, and then I snoozed till like 12:45, which is like it was so peaceful because I don't know. Okay, let me just before we get into this article, let me just say, do you ever have it where when you're sleeping and you push snooze, it feels really fast or it feels really slow? So today was one of those situations where it just felt like I had a lot of time between snoozes.
That's great.
And like there was something about like the window and my blankets and it just was so peaceful. Anyway, I woke up, I took a shower, I went to make coffee and I realized I didn't have any creamer because I use like the classic like vanilla creamer that you see everywhere. And I ran out yesterday and I planned to get groceries, but I just didn't. And so I made coffee. I already pushed the button to like make the coffee and I was like, shoot, I don't have the creamer. So I decided to go like old school and just put milk and sugar in my coffee.
Classic.
Which I have like whole milk and I have like a bag of sugar for like baking. So I was just like, do I even have sugar? Is my milk expired? But it all worked out. And so now I have this coffee and it did turn out okay. It was fine. It didn't have the hint of vanilla that my creamer ually has, but it was totally okay. I just finished it. I actually have one more sip. Watch as I sip.
Wow.
The final drink. Do you ever have it where the last drink of your coffee is just kind of cold?
Oh, always.
Yeah,
Like usually, so I have like weaned myself off of being dependent of coffee, which I'm very proud of because I've gone through so many phases of my life where I like will get a headache if I do not have at least 1 cup of coffee.
Yeah.
So I have stopped starting my day with coffee unless it's like the weekend or a special treat for myself. Like I don't have it before work. I don't have it at work. And then I just have like a cup of tea usually after lunch to give me like a little bit of caffeine to like perk me up for the rest of the day, especially at work. But when I do have coffee, I usually take way too long to drink it. And then like almost, I feel like sometimes halfway through it's cold and then I have to like heat it up in the microwave and then like slowly slip the rest of it. And then by the time it gets cold again, I'm just like
whatever.
Okay, whatever. I'm just going to drink this cold so I
Yeah.
just don't waste this. But
I am a pretty fast drinker, I will say, but sometimes sometimes I think I'm done.
Mhm.
And then there's really a little bit more. So like 15 minutes later, I'll be like, oh, there's more. And then I drink it.
Yeah. Well, wait, how did we get to this point from the
We're reading the
crudité?
article.
I
We're
know,
reading
but
the
like,
article, and then
was there anything
you
else
said-
that we wanted to say?
Here's the thing. I'll tell you exactly what happened. You said we're going to read the article, and then you drank a glass of water. You drank a sip of water.
And then you
And
did.
then you were like, and then I drank some water, and you're like, by the way, what are you drinking? And then we got on this whole thing.
Love it. I love to backtrack. Okay, so this fucking article, The Golden Age of Crudité, in the Food Matters section of the New York Times Style magazine.
Wait, what's the New York Times Style magazine? Is it like, it's kind of like New York Times?
It is New York
In the
Times.
style of New York Times.
I don't know. It's okay, so it's New York Times or nytimes.com
Okay.
is like the
And then
main.
is it like about style?
Ben, you're asking too many questions.
I just want to know the source.
I think
It's New York Times.
Oh no, I just lost the page because I accidentally clicked on it.
Oh, that's my fault. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Well, it's from New York Times.
Okay. That's
And
fine.
then I guess
I'll
the
believe it.
style section is maybe from their menu on their website, how it's organized. It seems that like, okay, now it's freaking frozen and it's not letting me click on
no.
it. It seems like food, fashion, music, like those kinds of culture things are maybe in the style portion of it. Someone is
Okay.
listening to this that like reads the New York Times and is like freaking rolling their eyes at me
You
right now.
idiots. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm not a regular, I don't have what is the like paywall? This is going to
Yeah.
be one of my 2 articles I can read this month. Oh gosh, okay. So, The Golden Age of Crudité, this was published in 2018 by Ligaya Michon.
Okay.
For most of human history, we're starting off really bold. Just with that. For most of human history, nobody ate a vegetable for pleasure. Oh my God, Ben.
What?
It's you.
Oh my! I'm gonna get a T-shirt that says that.
I'm writing it down
Oh.
for merch. I'm writing it down for merch.
Yeah, you can have that.
For most of
Yeah.
human. That is so funny. Literally to have that on a shirt.
Yeah, that would be a good like postcard or like a cookbook or something.
Or like an art piece that's like framed in your kitchen.
Oh yeah,
Or a magnet. Okay, we've got
Yeah.
ideas. Anyway,
yeah.
people don't like vegetables, is what they're saying. After all, vegetables have no evolutionary imperative to be delicious. Many
Wow.
fruits are sweet to lure animals into snagging them and scattering their seeds, but vegetables play no role in reproduction. As roots, stems, and leaves, they simply keep individual plants alive without concern for the furtherance of the species. Our proto-human ancestors ate ferns and tubers as vehicles for nutrients and calories, nothing more. What then would they, or for that matter, a medieval European peasant or a meat and potatoes American of the 1950s, like Lucy, like we were talking about earlier, make of the reverential plate at Visha in St. Louis, listed on the menu as naked vegetables? The arrangement is Spartan and jewel-like at once. A few wedges of heirloom radish with purple-pink hearts, bumpy carrots the length of a finger, and whole tomatoes to be bitten into like apples. The vegetables are indeed naked as the day they were culled from the earth, which, from the look and taste of them, might well be today. Ooh, we love a fresh veg.
Yeah.
At restaurants across the country, raw vegetables have suddenly been thrust to the forefront as bravura, pronunciation question mark, opening gambits to a meal massed on great wooden boards, like a freaking charcuterie board,
Oh my gosh.
and rising from giant terracotta urns, never seen that, with stalks reaching higher than diners' heads, evoking feathers in a war bonnet. Romaine leaves and cucumber trunks huddle inside chilled silver at The Grill in Midtown Manhattan, while a mile downtown at The Nomad, carrots and asparagus plunged into a bowl of ice suggest tentacles frozen mid-squirm. What the fuck is this imagery? What?
I can only imagine what image is next to that.
There isn't one there. I'm
Oh,
looking
okay.
for it. They have
Yeah.
links to these different restaurants, though, so I guess if they
Okay.
still have them on the menu, we could look them up.
Right.
The most whimsical version comes from The Office in New York, a cocktail lounge by the Chicago chef Grant Achatz. Here, in a bowl of crushed ginger and lemon-infused ice, blades of endive? I never know how to
Mm.
pronounce. I think it's endive. Planted upright. You'd think, like, I'm trying to be, like, a culinary person and
No, I know,
don't
but
know how
like
to...
this New York Times is like a vocab test.
I literally... Blades of endive planted upright call to mind surfboards anchored in sand. Alongside turrets of Romanesco pale mushrooms cluster as they would in a forest, appearing to grow straight from the ice as if in an Elsa Beskow picture book. What the heck
So it
is
seems like
that?
there's a lot of ice in this situation, which I'm
Yeah,
not doing with my veggie platters.
it's like all about keeping it cold, it seems.
Yeah.
These reimagined vegetable platters is in quotes,
Oh, wow.
offer snap and restorative freshness, cooling and earthy sweet, preparing diners for richer tastes to come. They're more
Hmm.
theatrical than salads, and in their suggestion that everyone use their hands, at once elegant and messy. While
I love
some
that they use the word theatrical because that's how I feel about it. It's like
Mhm.
it's a bigger deal. It's not just eating a salad, you're eating a veggie platter.
Yeah, because it's like a party. It's an event. I really like it. Makes me like the imagery I'm getting from this article is like I'm in the freaking Renaissance and I'm like
Yeah.
eating off of a huge platter on the table. Um, while some go by names like forage board and garden charcuterie, most chefs just call them crudités. A
Hmm.
wink to the cocktail party standby, often a banal tray of celery and peppers alongside a Hidden Valley Ranch dip.
Oh
They're
my God.
calling us
Hidden
out.
Valley.
Honestly, though, Ken's is the best, but Hidden Valley is
Okay.
iconic.
Okay.
The term comes from the French crudité, meaning rawness, yet its culinary use, always plural, is of recent vintage, first surfacing in 20th century France. The American chef James Beard, inspired by a bouquet of crudité he was
Oh.
served at a restaurant there, included a recipe for it. Green onions, radishes, celery, tiny artichokes, asparagus, turnips, carrots, all raw. In a 1965 cookbook, although the foreign term was just a matter of chicness, since he had already advocated for vegetables and dip as hors d'oeuvres as early as the 1940s. By the
Ooh, pioneer.
1980s, the New York Times was printing recipes for it, and the preferred first course of restaurants in southern France had made its way to New York power lunch spots.
Wow.
But could Beard ever have anticipated crudité as sculpture or terrarium? What we once ate begrudgingly now makes us gawk, even swoon, and we pay handsomely for it. So have raw vegetables changed, or have we? And then they have this beautiful picture of like a pile of raw mushrooms on top of like a marble stand that usually like a bust would be on. I
Yeah.
freaking love it.
Oh my gosh. This is a great article.
Right? The human brain is a hungry beast. Scientists have calculated that our
Hey,
earliest.
put that on a t-shirt.
Okay. I'm
The
just.
human brain is a hungry beast.
I really hope the New York Times Style magazine doesn't like sue me for using these sentences.
Hey,
But
that's another brand partnership.
with the New York Times Style
This
magazine,
video
which I
is
don't even
sponsored.
really know what it is.
This video is sponsored by the New York Times, who is currently suing me.
Honestly, that would be iconic. Maybe I'd finally get a big following on here.
Yeah.
So the human brain is a hungry beast. We love it. We live it. Scientists have calculated that our earliest ancestors would have had to eat raw vegetables nonstop for 9 hours a day just to fuel it. For early humans with limited tools, a vegetarian diet just wasn't efficient. The tipping point in evolution came some 2.5 million years ago when our distant progenitors started consuming more meat. Over time, their brains grew bigger. Perhaps we absorbed this lesson too well. Vegetables, despite their nutritional value, have long been a sideshow for much of our species. Certainly in the West, countries in Asia and Africa have long-standing produce-eating traditions, due in part to the intersections of climate and religion, not region, but I guess that goes with climate. Climate, region, and religion.
Yeah.
Ancient Romans ate a kind of salad, the word derived from the Latin for salt, with which lettuces were brined. Ooh, yum. So it's like pickled, kind of.
Yeah.
But by the 16th century, the English Tudors were obliterating them in long simmered stews. There have always been mavericks who disapproved of eating meat, like St. Catherine of Siena, who in the 14th century disavowed all food but raw vegetables. Wow, vegan before her time.
Yeah.
The American minister Sylvester Graham in 1830s Massachusetts likewise denounced meat as devilish, devising a diet centered on graham bread. Shout out to Honey Graham. His forerunner to the graham cracker and that other form of perdition, s'mores. Literally.
Sponsored by Honey Maid.
They've got to get me now.
Yeah.
A decade later in that state. Oh. Okay. I'm babysitting my sister's dog and he just moved, but he's still sleeping, so it's all good.
Oh my God, that scared me.
You
scared. Looked like there was a murderer in your apartment.
Well, because then I would have to take him outside to go potty.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, anyway. A decade later in that state, Amos Bronson Alcott founded a vegan commune called Fruitlands with 9 adults and 5 children, including his 10-year-old daughter, the future novelist Louisa May Alcott. We're bringing Little Women into this bitch today?
Wow.
Literally this article. She did that. What's the author's name?
Of Little Women?
No, Ligaya Mishan, the author of this article.
Oh, yeah.
I don't even know if that's a girl or a boy.
You
cool
follow
name,
that
though.
person.
Oh no, now I lost my... Louisa May Alcott found it.
Yeah.
They favored raw vegetables so as not to cook away the plant's life force. Okay. By winter, the experiment was over. The Alcotts had to be sheltered and fed by neighbors. Oh, come on. Nonetheless, toward the end of the 19th century, vegetables started gaining space on American tables as such then exotics as olives and celery began to be imported from warmer climates. Celery had to be imported? That's kind of crazy. Upton Sinclair's 1905 expose of the meatpacking industry, The Jungle, was intended to radicalize the public against free market capitalism, but instead inspired many to shun meat. I aimed at the public's heart, and by accident I hit it in the stomach, he wrote. Interest in vegetables waned during the 2 world wars when meat was so scarce it was coveted as a luxury. Coveted? Coveted.
Yeah.
Come on.
It was coveted?
Coveted. I said it with such confidence, too. Hitler's reputation for being a vegetarian didn't do much for the cause. But isn't that weird?
Yeah.
Like, he had absolutely no problem with humans dying, but didn't want to kill animals, I guess. But with the rise of the counterculture in the 1960s came a rejection of factory farming and a longing to realign our relationship with nature. The Berkeley chef Alice Waters opened Chez Panisse in 1971 as a canteen for her activist friends. Now she's an eminence Greece? G-R-I-S-E? I don't know. Grise?
Grise. I know I've seen that word, but I don't know how to pronounce it.
Same. Of sustainable agriculture and her once fringe vision, in which the choice of what to eat is as much political as it is personal, is mainstream, if not yet fully realized.
Wow.
And now there's a kind of phallic picture of these like oddly shaped carrots in a pile on top of another marble bust base.
Did they do a photo shoot for this?
It seems
Is it the same? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, they're all like the same style. Today's resurgence of crudité is then largely an outgrowth of the farm-to-table movement and its obsession with provenance, which anointed small farms as brand names and their products as premium goods.
Okay.
We fetishize turnips with stems still attached, twists of carrot ending in long, wispy threads, cucumbers with rutted, pitted surfaces. Still, for all the pious injunctions to respect the ingredient, the crux of crudité remains the dip. The Italian version is bagna cotta, literally a hot bath of olive oil and anchovies, while the Swiss favored cheese fondue, turning vegetables into
Ooh.
vessels of texture.
Yeah.
In perhaps the greatest impudence at the idiosyncratic San Francisco supper club Lazy Bear, diners receive a crock of bone marrow fondue, while Visha takes a meta approach, pairing root vegetables with pesto made from their leaves.
Oh,
That is cool.
yeah.
Perhaps what crudités offer is a corrective to the recent frenzy for meat and fat when foie gras was piped into donuts and menus were stocked with slabs of pork belly. While gardening has increased, a third of American households now grow their own vegetables, so have domestic sales of pork, up 20% since 2011. And again, this article is written in 2018. Indeed, in the hunter-gatherer hierarchy, the rewards of hunting have always taken precedence over those of gathering. Meat is a main course and vegetables an addendum, even in our current phase of celebrating crudité. Both roles demand intimate knowledge of the land, but stalking an animal and taking its life means going out into the world, while picking berries in the woods or tending a garden is domestic, that is, women's work, and valued less. The advent of the new Nordic food movement upended this by glamorizing foraging as a form of hunting, seeking out never-known corners of the wild. So it's worth noting that these out crudités tend to pop up at expensive restaurants run by white male chefs. It takes a certain amount of confidence, even privilege, to ask diners to pay as much as $40 for some vegetables, whether slapped on a board or meticulously arranged with tweezers. Because no matter the display, the vegetables are meant to taste like they've just been separated from the ground, and in that case, why do we need a chef at all?
Ooh.
Michael
Shots fired.
Galina, I'm not really sure. The chef of Visha argues that crudités are a form of advocacy. He wants diners to taste the care that goes into growing the vegetables in soil that has been taken out of production for weeks or months to return nutrients to it, at a sacrifice of growing crops that can earn top dollar. Framed like this, raw vegetables are no less luxury goods than dry-aged steaks. The closer they cleave to their origins, the more valuable they are. What they offer is that most elusive of qualities, honesty. Their beauty comes entirely from within. It can't be enhanced or faked. That's both a comfort and a rarity in a world dominated by the ersatz and the airbrushed, of novelty food trends like rainbow-dyed bagels and supersized soup dumplings, or sci-fi kitchen experiments involving mortadella foam and edible balloons. Galina says that naked vegetables is one of the riskiest dishes we serve, and the one that makes us most proud. The most exciting chefs don't just please us, they teach us something. They introduce new ingredients, flavors, and possibilities, or reframe forgotten ones. I still remember from more than a decade ago, long before any of these iced, overgrown bowls of radishes and asparagus appeared, a dinner at Blue Hill at Stone Barns in Pocantico Hills, New York, which began with carrots from the farms surrounding the restaurant, pierced into a row of nails on a wooden block. The spikes looked sharp and dangerous, like something out of Spartacus, and I wondered if the carrots could compete. But when I plucked one and took a bite, it tasted of half-fulfilled sweetness and turned earth like no carrot I'd ever known. At the same time, it was just a carrot, and suddenly that was enough. Wow.
Oh, wow, that's an uplifting ending. I feel like sometimes I'm just a carrot and that's enough.
We're all just carrots getting nailed into a fucking charcuterie board, and we're trying to break free.
Oh my
and fulfill
gosh.
our food dreams.
That added so much context to my veggie platter that I just make and watch Golden Girls.
Right. Well, now it's like, yes, that is what the veggies were meant to do. They were meant to be consumed and enjoyed and taken for what they are.
I can't believe this only started like in the 60s. Like, I mean, it's like in America, like I would assume like earlier on people would be eating vegetables.
Like literally it's just raw vegetables. Like how much easier can it get?
I know.
Wild.
Interesting. That's why the life expectancy was like 29.
Yeah, because they literally didn't have like nutrients.
Yeah.
So
oh my gosh, what an article in the New York Times style session.
Also love that I got like multiple quotes to use
I know.
merch, which, okay, here's our segue. Perfect.
Here's our segue.
Let's talk about our side hustles a little bit, because that is like one of the core elements of our friendship, I think.
Yeah.
And I'll just quickly talk about my, like, it's not really a new side hustle, but it has to do with snack time. So, like, snackers, get excited.
Listen
I'm
up.
going to come out with more merch that isn't really going to be saying, like, snack time or, like, salty, sweet, whatever. But it's going to be a lot more, like, humorous, like, food puns. And I'm going to, like, draw different types of snacks. Like, ideally, I'd have one for every snack that we've talked about on Snack Time. Funny quotes, quotes from movies that have to do with food. Like, we're just going all out. So that's coming soon. I don't know how soon. But
what, like, got you thinking about that? Like, what happened?
Okay, literally the moment was when I was listening back to my episode with Melissa Strom about the McDonald's French fry. And in that episode, if you've listened, she said, you can't let good ranch go to waste.
Oh,
and I was literally like, this is genius. And I think in the episode, I was like, that needs to be on a shirt. And then Melissa was like, oh my God, I should do that. Ha ha ha. And then I was listening back and I was like, literally, I should do that. And so I was like, wait, like, what if this turned into like a whole kind of like line of products or like, you know, category of merch that I could make. And it's just like food humor, which marries art and food, which, like, you've helped me realize is like my two kind of joys in life. And like, so bringing them together is like beautiful.
That's what I was gonna say, is like, I love how it can match like your humor and your passion for food with also your like ability to make like art that's really cool looking. And like you have the collage stuff, which is really, really cool.
Mm-hmm.
But like what I think is even like also cool is your ability to like draw shit and like draw your own ranch. And like it is like kind of a unique style. And like the Snack Time logo, and like you sent me a couple of things that you've drawn so far, and like it is really cool and unique. And like I feel like people will be interested in that, especially all of your like Snack Time followers.
Yes, thank you. I mean, it just makes sense to me.
Yeah.
And like, hopefully people like it. And I think with this kind of art style that I'm doing, and like, it's not too niche where you have to listen to the podcast to enjoy the art. And, you know, I'm thinking it'll be on mugs. There could be prints too, maybe like aprons.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
You know what I mean?
Aprons.
So it's like, it'll be way more accessible to people who don't listen. But then if you enjoy that, you'll probably also enjoy the pod. And so it kind of is this like cycle of just getting more people to enjoy my content, because
I know. And I do feel like, similarly, like how we were talking about like being 22, being 25, being 28, being 30 earlier, like I feel like one of the cool things about growing up and like going into your late 20s and like becoming like 27, 28, you know, even 30, is that we get to know ourselves more and like what our actual passions are. So like on the other side of like being rejected by like the corporate world, like we come up with like our own passions and like our own like little like niche for like where we want to like put stuff out there in the world. And I've really been enjoying that, seeing that like among my friends, because so many people, like when you're 22, it's really hard to start like a side hustle. And because a lot of times like you don't have really like that many skills, and you don't have that many like abilities to help people. But you still can start a side hustle, but over time, like you learn more and more stuff, and it just makes it easier to find a service or a product that you can actually sell to people.
100%. Okay, I was 100% listening, but my sister's dog just like somehow got out of his little pen. So let's take a quick break while
commercial break.
Yeah, let's do a quick break. I'm going to take him to go potty outside, and we'll be right back to wrap up, and we'll hear more about Ben's side hustle.
Let's do it.
Boom. Okay. Literally, I have to put him back.
Like how I was able to keep talking?
I was like, I hope he just like keeps going while I freak out about this dog right now. Okay, literally, I'll be right back. I'm
Okay, I'm gonna get more water.
Okay, perfect. Please go back to sleep. Thank you.
I think you should release that audio.
Oh, did you hear that toy squeak? Yeah. He's occupied. And we are back. And Ben, please tell the snackers, because I probably already know most of what you're gonna plug right now, but please tell us about your side hustles, and also, like, you know, tease even more your new podcast, because that's gonna be even more about side hustles.
Yeah. So like I was saying before the break,
the impromptu puppy potty break.
Yeah, the puppy potty break. I was saying, like, how what I've been noticing about side hustles is that when you're younger, when you're like 18, 22, 23, it's a little bit harder to come up with like products and services that you can actually provide for people as a side hustle. And one of my like little philosophies on side hustles is that you should do something that's kind of unique to you and something that like only you can bring into the world, and people will pay you for that. But when you're 22 and when you're 18 and however old you are, it's a little bit harder to have those skills because you just haven't figured out as much about yourself. And and I'm 28 now, and I figured out more and more about myself every single year. Mm-hmm. And so it's interesting because I was reflecting on, like, when I was, I think 25 or 26, I went to a friend of mine, and I was in a situation where I just felt like I needed more money every month. And this friend is kind of like, I call him like the king of passive income, because he just like understands how to like make money in different ways. And I asked him, like, you know, what can I do to make more money every month? And he's the one who helped me come up with my first like adult like New York side hustle, which was my photo booth company. And then over time, he's helped me like come up with different ideas, and he's kind of like my own little side hustle guru mentor person. Mm-hmm. His name is Sam. He's really, really cool. And I think over time, in the last 3 or 4 years, I've just become more able to provide more services. And one of the things that I notice about my conversations with my friends, like whether that's you or whether that's my friend Allie or different friends, like one of the things that I love talking to them about is their side hustles and their small businesses and their ideas for even like personal projects. Like sometimes the goal is not necessarily to make money every month. Sometimes you want more exposure or more experience. But I just realized that like I really enjoy having these conversations with people. And so actually, when I was listening to our last episode where we talked about strawberries, I think you said it in the moment. Because I was talking about a video that I had on YouTube about making a successful Etsy store. And this was in November, and the video had 800 views. And I was telling you about it, and I was saying how I might make more content in 2021 about side hustles. And then that was in November, but I don't think I officially like clicked and decided to do that until late December. So I made this goal to start making more side hustle content. And as I was making the content, I was realizing like, I want to help people through this free content, but I also want to help people kind of one-on-one. And a couple of friends of mine have just said like, oh, you know, you should help people. You should be like a side hustle coach or like a side hustle consultant or something. And I have a friend, this is another little element of this. I have a friend named Sammy, and Sammy paid off a bunch of debt in the last couple of years through budgeting and through saving and through paying off, and obviously paying off her debt. And she started a blog and she sent it to me, and we were talking about it. And I was like, you know what? This is ridiculous. I need a blog. Like, I don't really have a niche. I don't really have something that I'm putting out there that's really valuable besides just kind of my own humor every now and then. But I was thinking about it, and I was like, what I really am good at and what I like doing the most is helping people with their side hustles. So I revamped BenjaminHawes.com, and now it's all about how different ways that I can help you with your side hustle. And it's basically this 50-50 split between I can coach you and help come up with ideas and brainstorm, or I can help you like shoulder the load of your side hustle and actually take on some of the work and like maybe build you a website or maybe build out your Etsy shop or get you on Yelp or something like that. And it's been really interesting to see their response because I have this free content and I have, I'm taking on like clients with it, which is it's so cool because it's like this perfect little media empire of like me being a side hustle consultant. And it's just been really fun. I've gotten like 4 or 5 solid clients so far and a bunch of other people who are kind of like interested or they're just like commenting on my videos. The Etsy video that inspired all of this has now hit 6,000 views.
Incredible.
I've never had a video that had 6,000 views in my whole life. And people are commenting and asking for like my advice on Etsy. And so I'm going to be like delivering more content on both Etsy stuff and also side hustle, just tips and tricks and ideas and inspirations around like how to find, start and grow your side hustle. Because I think 2020 showed us that we do not have like it's not enough to just have like one income stream, and we need to be able to be a little bit more self-reliant, and a lot of people are starting side hustles. So I think like the time is now, the place is here, the person is me. And
literally, yes.
And I'm making these videos. I'm releasing new YouTube videos every other Sunday, which I know it's like better to do it every week, but I'm trying to focus on the quality. I'm trying to make sure that what I put out there is really valuable. But daily tips on Instagram, at The Real Ben Hawes on Instagram. And if you are interested, if you're someone who's starting a side hustle, if you want to make a few extra $100 a month and you need some ideas, then you can always find me at benjaminhawes.com. If you want to see my services and how I can help you, just click that little services tab and you will see all the different ways that I can help. If you're not sure, if you think like, who is this Ben Hawes guy? What can he do for me? Check out my testimonials page because I have a couple of different people who I've helped with their side hustles, including the host of this podcast, Snacktime. And it's fun. I'm really excited about it. It seems to be working so far, and I've just started. So 2021, here I come.
I cannot be more excited for you in this new side hustle venture because, we've discussed it on this podcast before, and we discuss it in our, daily texting conversations all the time, but, this is what you do. This is what you bring to people, whether they're paying you or not. So it's you might as well be getting paid because I always joke, I'm just waiting for the day that Ben charges me for, how much he inspires me and helps me think through processes and brainstorming and all this stuff. Earlier I said that the ranch quote was, the tipping point for me to be like, oh my God, that's so funny. I should put that on a shirt. But in all reality, Ben's encouragement in, start an Etsy or, put that shit on your Etsy. Do what he has done with, you haven't even talked about your upskilled
my upskilled swag.
Yeah.
I talked about it last time. If you listened to my strawberry episode, we talked about my mugs and hats and t-shirts and stickers that all have the business jargon you love to hate. And 2020 was a big year for Zoom and virtual meetings and just being able to connect with people, in a different way. And it also was a year where we reevaluated our priorities with work and how we want to communicate with people. Yeah. So I just have always loved those kind of business jargon terms please circle back later or, things like that where it's just, why are you even saying that? Just because you have a job, you don't have to talk like that. And with the evolution and the rise of Zoom, there's so many things that people say, for example, sorry, I wasn't recording.
Literally, if you had more people if podcasting was something that everyone did, that could be one of them. Yeah. Maybe I just need a custom.
Sorry, I wasn't
recording. Yeah, sorry.
But I have sorry, I was on mute, or can everyone see my screen? Or I have a sweatshirt that says, can everyone mute? So it's kind of this commenting on culture around Zoom and work humor and business jargon. So if you're interested in checking that out, I do post about it on my Instagram. So like the best place to just follow me to stay in touch with everything that I'm working on, because there kind of is a lot sometimes, is to just go to my Instagram at @therealbenhawes and follow me there. But if you want to go directly to my Etsy shop, it's just etsy.com/shop/upskilled swag, like upskilled, like getting new skills, because that was kind of the original intent of everything.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's genius, and so many people like speak like that and use Zoom and everything. So like it just makes so much sense. And so that in itself, I was like, I want to do something that like is that accessible to people using, you know, my humor, my artistic ability, and I love food. And so all of those things together, I was like, let's just make some more snack time merch, but make it less about the podcast and more about food, because why are people coming to the podcast? Not necessarily just to like listen to a podcast. It's about food that they like to enjoy, and it's fun and funny, and it's like, okay, add art and put it on a mug, and there's my idea. So I mean, all of this just sums up that Ben, he knows what he's talking about. So if you guys, snackers, if you're looking to start a side hustle in 2021, you know, it doesn't need to be something huge. It could just be selling stuff on Etsy or whatever it is, you know, walking dogs, whatever.
And you don't have to stick to one side hustle. Like, just because something only makes you $50 or $100 a month, that doesn't have to be your only side hustle. Like, that's something that I'm learning with myself, is like, as an entrepreneur, like I've always thought, oh, I have to have like my one big idea. But the truth is, you can truly have like 5 side hustles if you wanted to, and make like $1,000 a month or whatever you want to do. I was actually talking with my dad about basically, because I'm unemployed, so it's a really interesting time with like being unemployed and money and like working and not working and hobbies and stuff like that. And I was telling him about basically how I have all these different factors like of income coming in. None of it is like enough to like write home about, or to like you know, make me feel like I'm fully employed or that I'm actually making enough money to like do stuff. But like I was telling him about all these different things. Another side hustle basically that I just started is not something that's a business that I created myself, although kind of it is, because I'm doing basically like freelance event planning with a community that I'm part of. So basically I was hired for about 15 hours a month. So I'm basically like working 4 hours a week for this community called Badassery, which I'm a part of, and is something that I'm kind of pretty passionate about. And my job is going to be to plan the events for the community. And so that's like a whole other side hustle. So, you know, it's interesting because sometimes a side hustle means like literally starting your own business, but a side hustle really could be just getting another job that's part-time.
I love that. What? Oh my God. Eddie,
dogs.
Please.
The dogs of Snacktime.
He needs his lunch soon. Yeah, literally, I just love the way that you are able to take these. I mean, this information is available for everyone, but it's not always translated in the best way and like the most accessible way. Like, usually when you hear side hustle, you're like, oh my God, like you're going to end up spending like so much time doing something and putting so much effort into it, and who knows if anything will come of it. But the way that you are able to like encourage people and help people like me figure out ways to possibly make money, it's like, I'm already doing this, so I might as well do it in a more focused way, and a way that other people will enjoy and hopefully pay for.
Yeah.
It's genius. And so I'm just excited for you.
I think that's something with artists, is that they're already doing it. Like if you're an artist and you're someone who's doing this as a passion, and the other thing is like, if you have friends, like oftentimes like your friends want to support you and they want to be able to buy something from you. Like I have a friend who does pottery, and she makes bowls and plates and all kinds of stuff. And I was watching her do it and make all this stuff. And I was like, I really hope she starts selling these, because I want something in my home that represents like my relationship with her, or like I want something in my home that feels original that no one else has. And so she did end up starting an Etsy store, and I bought something, and it was just like, I just love the idea of starting your own business, especially if you're someone who's a creative, or if you're someone who's like an artist. Like, there are ways that you can make money. And so I'm just hoping that I can help people find those solutions.
I love that. So you've already mentioned all the places they can find you, but I think something that's super exciting that we are doing later today is recording your new podcast, which can help people even more with their side hustles. So do you want to let people know where they can find that?
Wait, I just realized we're celebrities. Because how many podcasts do you listen to where someone's like, oh, and I just did her podcast. Go listen to her podcast.
We're like officially collabing, I think.
Yeah,
like,
I think
we're not even like guesting on each other's podcasts. We're like, okay, like let's collab. Yeah. Like
we're vibing and collabing.
Love it. That's what I want in 2021. Just vibes and collabs. Okay, so tell them about this freaking podcast.
So I'm obviously incredibly inspired by Snacktime, and the wild success of Snacktime is so inspiring to me. And I did have a podcast in the past. It was called The Dream Life with Ben Hawes, and it was about just my life, how I've done things, how I've accomplished things. And that's kind of what I was talking about earlier, is like, it was funny, it was interesting, it was me talking to the microphone, but I didn't really have a theme, I didn't really have a niche, I didn't really have something that, like, if you were a stranger and you found me, like, why would you follow me? And it's been really interesting since I've decided on doing this side hustle stuff, because I've actually gotten like 20 new followers ever since I've started this side hustle stuff. And it's because people feel like they can rely on me for like a certain type of content. And I'm still like putting in my personality and putting in humor and all of that stuff. But I'm really enjoying this side hustle stuff. So I wanted to transform my old podcast. I'm actually throwing it all the way out. I want to start a new podcast. It's called Side Hustle Divas. Whoa. And it's basically going to be me bringing people on to talk about what is successful for them in their side hustle, in the mission, in the hope that it'll help other people, get inspired or find success in the same way. So the way that I'm doing it, I think, is fairly revolutionary. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to record it by going live on Instagram, and then I'm going to take that recording and turn that into a podcast by producing it up and adding some context and stuff. Mm-hmm. But if you're interested in joining the live version, by the time that this podcast is out, you'll be able to see the video recording on my Instagram. But then the next time we do it, if you follow me at The Real Ben Hawes, or if you're already following Michelle, she's going to go live with me tonight at 7 p.m. EST, 4 p.m. PST. We're going to be talking we're going to talk a little bit about the launch of the podcast and like why we're doing it, or why I'm doing it, and why Michelle is obviously my first guest. But then we're going to talk about social media strategies, social media tips, and it's not going to be instructional where like we're going to like give you all the details on like how to get 10,000 followers, because obviously we're not pro that. But we're going to talk about the little tweaks we've made to make our social media a little bit more successful, in the hopes that you can kind of follow along. Maybe you can go ask questions live with us and we can answer those. And I think it's just going to be a really fun, cool, casual conversation, and we're going to turn it into a podcast. So next time I'm on, we can plug that and get everybody over to the podcast app so you can subscribe. Yes. But it's going to be really fun. I've always wanted to have a podcast. I've had a few different versions of my podcast, and I think overall it's going to be the best iteration, the best version that I've ever made. I'm a little concerned about the quality, but I think it'll add to like the authenticity.
Yeah, it'll be fun. It's live. Like anything can happen. Well, okay, so we're recording that later. So people that are listening to this pod now, you're not going to be able to watch me live if you didn't already watch it last week. But you can always listen to it after, and there will be more to come. So make sure you're following Ben. Sorry, this dog is needing some attention.
It's authentic. It's
this
live.
Is real authentic right now. But yeah, you guys, I mean, if you're a snacker, Ben, he's the shit, and I love him, and you gotta follow if you aren't already, and you gotta listen to his new podcast, you gotta buy his shit on Etsy. If you want to start a side hustle, obvi, go follow him on Instagram.
At the real Ben Hawes.
Subscribe to him on YouTube.
Oh, we didn't even talk about that. But people get it. People get it.
You get it. Just basically follow him so then you get all the information. And we can all be Side Hustle Divas together.
Side Hustle Divas, Sunday nights on E.
Honestly, that would be iconic if we could get a reality show.
That would be awesome.
The dream. All right, yeah. Well, we gotta wrap this shit up. I hope you snackers enjoyed this extra long episode of Snack Time. And enjoyed your charcuterie, crudité, veggie platter, party, veggie, whatever you were.
Veggie platter.
Veggie platter. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed. I hope you enjoyed your snack if you had one with us. And I hope you're having a good day. Don't forget to follow Snacktime at SnackTimePod on Instagram, Marno Show on Twitter, Marno Show on YouTube, and on Etsy for upcoming merch. Links in the description, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Linktree, Marno Show. That's where you need to go. All right. I'll see you guys. I will see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.
Oh my God.